Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got a video that isn't on a Saturday because a brand new Unearthed Arcana has come out, and it is Wonders of the Multiverse. Now I know this came out last night, but being on Irish time and not US time, I didn't get to see it till this morning. So we're going to go straight through it, see what we can think of it. I know there's a lot in this, so it could be a longish video, but let's see how we get on. So we have a bunch of new stuff. We've got a new race called the Glitchling, a Cleric subclass, some backgrounds, some feats, and some spells. So we're just going to get straight through it. So creating your character, this is all the basic stuff that's on every single one. But here's the thing we're interesting, the Glitchling. So created by forces of planar law, Glitchlings are winged human-like creatures made from a merger of magic and machine. These explorers seek to learn all they can about the multiverse and its creatures. Some glitchlings then carry what they learn back to lawful planes like mechanists to inform the orderly working of the multiverse. Others become enamored with travel and the peoples they encounter, and they seek to make a life of their own among the planes. Glitchlings begin their existence with rudimentary personalities. As they absorb information and experiences, their personalities grow but may retain quirks associated with their lawful origins. You can roll or choose a quirk from the orderly quirk table or create your own. So a bunch of little quirks here just to help you roleplay your character. Someone collects things. Think of ourselves being part of a collective. We seek new experiences. I preface things I say with a short description. I plan elaborate responses to every contingency. I investigate people's intentions behind their actions. So just a fun little way to play a Glitchling. Now we're going to get into the fun mechanics aspect of it. So you're a construct. Wow, okay, that makes them very powerful because there's a lot of healing spells which don't affect constructs, but there's a lot of other spells that don't affect them as well. So that's a really interesting choice they've made there. Your medium, your walking speed is 30, that's fine. Armored plating, you've metal skin is reinforced with armor plates. While you aren't wearing armor, your base AC is 14 plus your dex. Okay, so better armor, that's always good. Balanced chaos, when you make an attack roll or a saving throw and roll a 9 or lower on the d20, you can balance chaos and treat the roll as a 10. You can balance chaos in this way a number of times. You get your proficiency bonus and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's an amazing ability in my opinion. You know, it's only now twice per long rest at low levels and you only get it up to 6, but it's a really good, very similar to the rogue ability. That's really powerful in my opinion. That's a really, really good ability. I like the way they've locked it though to a number of uses, so you know, it's always one of those things where you might not use it because you're so afraid that if you use it a better ability might come up, a better time might come up for it to be used. So that's a pretty solid ability. Living construct, you were created to benefit from several spells that preserve life, but that normally don't affect constructs. Like I was saying, cure wounds, healing word, mass cure wounds, mass healing word, and spare the dying. So you can actually benefit from healing. Okay, so they worked a way around it. Ordered mind, you have advantage on wisdom or insight checks and on saving throws made to avoid or end the charmed condition on yourself. Solid ability, very similar to the elf one. And Vestigial Wings. You have Vestigial Wings that allow you limited flight. When you move, you can engage your wings to gain flying speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your current turn. If you are still aloft at the end of the turn with nothing else supporting you, you fall. You can use this trait a number of times, you get your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses after you finish long rest. Okay, so it's just a limited flying thing. It's not just straight up flying, which would have been maybe a little bit broken since you've already got the construct thing on you. Seems like a good race. Would absolutely probably give it a go at some point if I ever got the chance to be a player, perma DM. But yeah, seems solid. I'm very happy with them. Obviously they still have I assume, the ability scores. Yeah. +1 to anything, +2 to anything, or +1, 2, 3 things. It's your basic stuff. Okay, moving on to the part I'm really interested in. Cleric subclass. I love clerics. A cleric gains divine domain feature which offers you the choice of a subclass. The following option is available when making that choice. The fate domain. Gods of fate perceive the future and how the choices mortals make drive them towards their destinies. Some deities consider the future preordained, while others understand the multiverse as a place of infinite possibilities. Clerics who draw power from the forces of fate sometimes receive visions directly from their deity and receive fleeting omens of the future. They share impossible knowledge with their allies and prophesize their enemies' doom. Okay, so fate domain deities. Savros from the Forgotten Realms, Istus from Greyhawk, I think that'd be a Jeline from Dragonlance, and Legolas Enerath is an Elven god. Okay, so your domain spells. Dissonant Whispers and Heroism for the first level, See Invisibility and Warding Bond for third level, Beacon of Hope and Clairvoyance for 5th, Death Ward and Divination for 7th, and Commune and Aegeus for 9th. Solid spells, nothing overtly like extreme powerful. Beacon of Hope's a pretty good one to have. Yeah, they're just a spells, they're free, so always just a plus, no matter what, in my opinion. Omens and Portents. You can perceive signs of the future in everyday objects and events, such as flights of birds or ripples made in water by throwing a stone. You can cast an augury spell without expending a spell slot. When you cast a spell in this way, the spell has no verbal, somatic, or material components. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. In addition, until you finish a long rest, when you cast a divination spell, that includes a chance the DM gives you no answer or random reading, such as augury or divination, reduce that chance by 25%. Okay, so it's just kind of like augury, basic spell. You get use of it for one use of it, but you don't need any, there's no like components for or whatsoever, no somatic or verbal, and then you just basically increase your odds of actually guaranteeing on these spells that kind of, when you roll, it's like, oh, you'll either see the future or you won't. So that's pretty cool, pretty fun ability. I always feel like though with prophesizing and future in D&D, it's a little bit tricky because you could fall into the trap of that now has to come true maybe. So it's a bit, I like the idea of having a fate subclass, but the idea of something being able to predict the future has always been a bit iffy, in my opinion, for D&D. Nonetheless, Ties That Bind, another first level ability. You can temporarily tie your fate to others. As an action, you can touch one object or creature that and magically tie a strand of fate from yourself to it for 1 hour or until you use this feature again. An unwilling creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC to resist this effect. While the target is bound to you and on the same plane of existence as you, you can sense the direction to the target's location, and you know the direction of its movement if it's in motion. In addition, once per turn, you can cast a spell using a spell slot to deal damage or restore hit points to the target. Roll a d6 and the target receives extra damage or healing, respectively, equal to the number rolled. You can use this feature a number of times equal to proficiency bonus, and you regain them all after a short rest. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a pretty good, I feel that's way better as a healing ability than a damage ability, just because the d6 is a bit meh for damage, but it's really solid for healing. Using it on an enemy, I mean, it's kind of just a better locate creature, isn't it? So not the strongest ability, but I feel for the healing aspect, I would say it's like powerful in that regard, but the damage is a bit meh. Channel Divinity, Strands of Fate is their second level Fate domain feature. You can use your Channel Divinity to see and manipulate the strands of fate and weave around other individuals. As a bonus action, you can enter this state for up to 1 minute or until you lose your concentration, as if you're concentrating on a spell. For the duration, whenever another creature you can see makes an attack roll or an ability check, you can use your reaction to give their roll advantage or disadvantage. Fantastic ability, in my opinion. That's a really powerful Channel Divinity. Yeah, that is good. I can't see much flaws with that. I mean, lasts for a minute, and the concentration thing is your balance, so someone sees, if an enemy sees this person manipulating fate in the middle of a fight, they just target them. That's a really good ability. I really, 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 really like that. Kind of dwells on the whole Silvery Barbs thing I was saying in my last video about how a player being able to dish out advantage and disadvantage, but this is an ability, so it's different to a spell, in my opinion. But nonetheless, very good ability, very good Channel Divinity. Insightful Striking. As a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. Your magic grants you a brief vision of the target's defenses. Until the end of your next turn, you gain one of the following effects of your choice. The next time you make an attack roll against a creature, roll a d6 and add that number to the roll total. Okay, the next time the target must make a saving throw against a spell you cast, target must roll a d6 and subtract it. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to proficiency bonus. Okay. Fun little thing. Once again, playing on that d6 aspect of the similar level 2 ability. Yeah, that's pretty solid, and being a bonus action, it's pretty good. No complaints there from me. I like that one as well. Potent spellcasting, your 8th level ability. You add your wisdom modifier to any cleric cantrips that deal damage. Always, it's either usually that, or I think it's like an extra attack or something, or clerics kind of have one of the two, so that's pretty solid. And Visions of the Future, your 17th level domain ability. Your knowledge of the future allows you to guide an individual to achieve their greatest possible success. You can cast the Foresight spell once without expending a spell slot. When you cast this spell in this way, the spell's duration is 1 minute for the casting. Once you cast the spell this way, you can't do so until a finish long rest. Not the strongest 17th level ability. You basically get a free casting of a spell. But, I mean, that being said, as a quick, I'm only glancing at this subclass because there's a lot to get through in this Unearthed Arcana. If I'm to quickly say it, the main spell's not the strongest, but whatever. These two abilities, this ability's good, especially for its healing aspect. I really like that one, the ties that bind. Omens and Portents, this is more just a quality of life one. It's whatever, whatever ability. I feel its powerful things are these. It's a channel divinity and it's insightful striking. They're its best abilities. If you can get to be 6th level with this, you're flying. Like, this is amazing. I feel these abilities make the class, these two, the channel divinity and insightful striking. It seems solid. I wouldn't say it's the weakest, but I wouldn't say it's the strongest cleric subclass they've made. It seems kind of balanced in my opinion, but I imagine there are broken aspects to it, or it's could be extremely weak in one part. But nonetheless, people will dissect this over the next while, and we'll see what comes out of it. Backgrounds. If the DM decides to allow any of the backgrounds in this section, all characters in the campaign gain access to a bonus feat. If you select one of these backgrounds, you gain the bonus feat specified in the background. If the background you choose doesn't provide a feat, you gain a bonus feat of your choice from the following list. Parentheses tells you where to find the feat. So these are just some extra feats you can get if your DM essentially allows these backgrounds in your campaign. So the Skyon of Elemental Air, Elemental Earth, Elemental Fire, Elemental Water, Skilled and Tough. Tough's a great ability. We'll see what these feats are like later on in this video. So the first background, Gate Warden. You spent a significant amount of time somewhere influenced by a portal to another plane or existence, or by intense planar forces. You're accustomed to experiences that would leave others reeling in terror or enraptured by otherworldly beauty, and you're as comfortable dealing with fiends and celestials as you are with vendors in town. Skill proficiencies. Persuasion and Survival, two really good ones to have, and you get 2 languages of your choice. Abyssal, Celestial, or Infernal are what are recommended. Your equipment, just basic stuff. A ring of keys to unknown locks, a blank book, an ink pen or quill, a bottle of black ink, a set of traveller's clothes, and 10 gold pieces. Feature, Planar Infusion. Living someplace steeped in the energy of the planes, you gain the Skyon of the Outer Planes feat, presented later in this document. In addition, you know where to find free, modest lodging and food in the community you grew up in. Okay. Building a Gate Warden character, so these are just your basic stuff. So this is the part, we're going to have to see how good this feat is to know how powerful this background is. The fact that you get a feat, though, is always going to be powerful. And then you get, your basic stuff, your traits, some trinkets and stuff. Your basic background stuff. Giant Foundling. Though you aren't giant, you grew up among giants. Maybe you are an orphan taken in by sympathetic family of stone giants who raised you as their own, or perhaps you lived in a lost prehistoric pocket of the world surrounded by giants and fearsome behemoths or hulking dinosaurs. Something about your environment, perhaps the food or water that sustained you through childhood, elemental magic inherent in the site of your home, or some verdant blessing of growth placed on you, ensured that you grew to a remarkable size. With the aid of this magic, you have learned how to embody the titanic might of giants. You are used to moving through a world much bigger than you, and this is reflected in your skills, attitude, and perspective on life. Skill proficiencies, Intimidation and Survival. Once again, good skills. 2 languages of your choice. More equipment. Origin stories. You've come to... That's fine. Where's the feature? Here it is. You gain the Strike a Giant's feat. Okay, so most of these seem to just have feats connected to them, which means, to be honest, I'm half tempted just to nearly fly through the backgrounds really quickly just so we can see what the feats are like, because if they're all tied to feats, that's the important part. So this is going to be some sort of giant-based feat. Planar Philosopher, Arcane and Persuasion, once again, tied to this feat. So we're going to have to see if any of them don't have feat. Here's another background Rune Carver. Do you get a feat? Yeah, the Rune Carver Apprentice feat. So we're just going to get into these feats. Here we go. So there's a bunch. Holy God. That is a lot of feats. We got a lot to get through, folks. Okay, so the first one on this list is Agent of Order. So this has a prerequisite for 4th level Skyon of the Outer Planes. Lawful Outer Plane feat. You can increase an ability score by 1. Stasis Strike once per turn. You can damage a creature you can see within 6 feet. You can deal an extra 1d8 force damage to the target and must make a wisdom saving throw, or be restrained by spectral bindings until the start of your next turn. These bindings manifest as chains, gears, encasing stone, or some other symbol of stasis. You can use this benefit in times 6 proficiency bonus, and you regain all uses. Okay, so it seems solid. I imagine it builds on the Skyon of the Outer Planes, so we'll see what that is like when we get there. Baleful Skyon. Once again, you need to have the Skyon of the Outer Planes to take this, and you can take that at level 4. Once again, you get that ability score increase, and then you get Life Draining Grasp. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can also deal necrotic damage to it. The damage equals 1d6 plus proficiency bonus, and you regain a number of hit points equal to the necrotic damage dealt. You can use this feature number times 6 your proficiency bonus. Regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Really good ability. Solid. I mean, once again, we're going to have to see what this Skyon of the Outer Planes is like before we know what it's like. So, a Cartomancer. The only prerequisite is you have 4 levels in Sorcerer, Warlock, or a Wizard class. You've learned to channel your magic through a deck of playing cards, granting you these benefits. And nice, I love this. You can use your deck of cards as a spellcasting focus. When you use a deck as a focus to cast a spell that deals damage, roll a d4. You gain a bonus to 1 damage roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. The bonus applies to 1 creature of your choice that you can see damaged by the spell. You can use this benefit number times to get your proficiency bonus. Okay, solid, just an extra little d4. So a little bit weak, but let's see what these other ones are. You learn Prestidigitation cantrip, and you can use it to create illusions that duplicate the effects of stage magic. When you use Prestige in this way, you can conceal the verbal and somatic components of a spell as mundane conversation and card handling. Okay, fun little flavour. Hidden Ace. When you finish a long rest, you can choose 1 spell you know and imbue it into a card. The chosen spell must have a casting time of 1 action, and its level must be less than or equal to your proficiency bonus. While the card is imbued with the spell, you can use your bonus action to flourish the card and cast the spell within. The card then immediately loses its magic. Okay, so it's essentially a free spell once per long rest. Not as powerful as these two, if you ask me, but still a fun little spell feat, you know, especially if you're one. I always like the idea of being a spellcaster who uses cards instead of actual spells, so we'll see how we get on. Cohort of Chaos. Once again, you need the Skyon of the Outer Planes before you can take this. You can channel the cosmic forces of chaos that drive the multiverse toward both freedom and disarray. Your actions are still yours to choose, but you gain these benefits. Increasing the ability score by 1. And Chaotic Flare. When you roll a 1 or a 20 on an attack roll or saving throw, the magic of chaos flows through you. Roll on the Chaotic Flare table to determine what happens. A flare lasts until the end of your next turn, and a new flare can't occur until after the first flare ends. So, we've got Disruption Field. Waves of energy ripple in a 10-foot sphere centered on you. Every creature other than you that starts its turn in the area or moves into that area for the first time on a turn takes 1d8 force. Okay. Battle Fury. Creature your choice that you can see is filled with Reckless Fury. The creature has advantage on attack rolls and disadvantage on ability checks. Okay, that's pretty solid, especially in a fight. Unbound. When you move, you can use some or all of your walking speed to teleport once, along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying up to the distance used to an unoccupied space that you can see. So it's a free once-off little teleport, but it uses your walking speed, which is interesting. You know, so it's not like a straight-up Misty Step. So obviously some sort of balancing there. And then finally, Wailing Winds. Howling Winds swirl around you in a 6-foot radius. You and any creature in the radius has disadvantage on wisdom saving throws. I mean, that just seems a little bit weak, but You can also forcibly release a Chaotic Flare as a bonus action, rolling on the table as normal. To determine the effects, you can use this bonus action number times fish bonus. Okay, so you can just do these for fun as well. You don't have to rely on the 1 or 20. Okay, that's just a fun kind. I imagine a wild magic sorcerer would love something like that. Okay, Ember of the Giants. So you need the Strike of the Giants, the Fire Giant specifically one, before you can take this. Once again, you can increase your Strength, Constitution, or Wisdom by 1. Born of the Flame, you gain resistance to fire damage. And then Searing Ignition. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace a single attack with a magical burst of flame. Each creature of your choice within 15 feet of you that you can see must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, the creatures take fire damage equal to 1d8 plus proficiency bonus and is blinded until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much and isn't blinded. You can use this ability a number of times. Proficiency bonus. That's a pretty solid ability. The blinding is what makes that, really. Yeah, pretty good for a tank, maybe. You know, because you kind of got to be in the front lines to be able to do that. Fury of the Frost Giants. Once again, you need the Strike of the Giants, the Frost Giant aspect one, before you can take this. Similar increases in ability scores there. You gain resistance to cold damage, and then Frigid Retaliation. Immediately after a creature you can see within 30 feet of you hits you with an attack roll and deals damage, you can use your reaction to retaliate with a Conjured Blast of Ice. Creature must make a con save. On a fail, it takes 1d8 plus proficiency bonus cold damage, and its speed is halved until the end of the next turn. You can use this reaction number times 6 proficiency bonus. I don't think it's as powerful as the Fire Giant one, but it being a reaction means it's kind of just fun to have. Guile of the Cloud Giant. So once again, the Strike of Giant's feat is needed, and you need to go the Cloud Giant route. Once the same ability score increases, but then you get Cloudy Escape. When a creature you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can use reaction to give yourself resistance to the attack's damage. You then teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded up, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so obviously that's a ridiculously powerful ability compared to the fire and the frost one, but they limited the amount of times you can use it, which is going to be a max of 3 at level 20, so it's balanced in that regard because you just can't use it as much, but still I really like that one. Keenness of the Stone Giant, same prerequisites are needed, same ability score increases. Stone Throw is a bonus action. You can touch a rock that can fit in the palm of your hand and imbue it with magic. While the rock is imbued with magic and you are wielding it, the rock is a magic ranged weapon with which you are proficient and has a thrown property of a normal range of 60 feet and a long range of 180 feet. On a hit, the rock deals 1d10 bludgeoning damage, and if the target is a creature, it must succeed in a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. The magic remains in the rock until you hit with it or finish a long rest. You can imbue a number of rocks equal to proficiency bonus. Okay, so that's just a pretty fun little ability. Cavernous Site. You gain dark vision of a range up to 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, from another source, your range increases by 60 feet. So that's pretty solid. You know, the rock thing is fun, but I feel you're going there mainly for that dark vision increase. Outlands Envoy, Skyon of the Outer Planes is needed again. You've spent significant time in Sigil or elsewhere in the Outlands. The crossroads of the multiverse, being steeped in converging planar energies, grant you these abilities. So increase one of your abilities by 1, and Crossroads Emissary, you learn the Misty Step and Tongue spell. You can cast each spell once using this feat without a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast them this way again. When you cast Tongues using this feat, you require no material components. You can also cast these spells using spell slots if you have the appropriate level. The spell casting ability is the one chosen when you gained the Skyon of the Plains feat. Okay, so that's really good. I really like that one. Getting those 2 spells are really powerful. Can definitely help. Once again, we need to see what this Skyon of the Outer Plains feat is like before we know how powerful these other feats are. Plane Wanderer. Once again, you need the Skyon of the Outer Plains. You can draw on the forces of the multiverse to survive cosmic extremes to traverse its infinite realms. You gain these benefits. Planar Adaptation. When you finish a long rest, you gain resistance to either acid, cold, or fire damage. Your choice until you finish your next long rest. Okay, so having interchangeable is always good. Portal Cracker. You experience with portals allow you to operate them without the proper portal key. As an action, you can concentrate on a portal you're aware of that is within 5 feet of you and make a DC 20 wisdom or survival check. On a failure, you take 3d8 force damage, and you can't use this feature on that portal again until you finish a long rest. On success, you can force the portal to open or close for 1 hour. For that duration, a portal closed in this way doesn't respond to its portal key unless a creature employing the key succeeds on a DC 20 Arcana check as an action. Jeez, that's a mouthful. I don't know how common portals are. So, I mean, if you have portals and that's your... that's kind of a mechanic you use, I guess it'll be fun. But it seems like that might be very limited to how often you use portals in your game. Portal sense, you know the direction of the latest planar portal you used while you and the portal are on the same plane. Moreover, as an action, you can detect the location of any portals within 30 feet of you that aren't behind total cover. Once you detect a portal with this action, you can use your action again. You can't use the action again until you finish the long rest. Once again, this seems very specific, so I don't know how powerful it is, because it does seem very restrictive, and that you need to have this whole portal mechanic in your game for it to be viable, to be honest. Righteous Heritor. Once again, you need the Outer Planes thing. Same ability score increase. Soothe pain. When you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use reaction to dull its suffering and reduce the damage it takes by 1d10 plus proficiency. You can use this benefit a number of times to get proficiency bonus. Solid ability, no complaints there. Just a fun way to prevent damage. Wouldn't be worst thing for like maybe a cleric or something. Rune, Carver, Apprentice. Here we go. We're finally seeing some of these things. So this one is the one for the background. You've begun studying the art of runecraft. You learn the comprehend language spell. You can cast a spell without expending a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast it in this way again. You can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have. You know the 2 runes of your choice from the rune spells table. Whenever you finish long rest, you can mark 1 non-magical weapon, armor, piece of clothing, or other object you touch with the rune. You temporarily learn 1 first level spell based on the rune inscribed as specified in the rune spells table, and you know the spell until you finish the long rest when the rune fades. Okay. So these are the runes. Death is Ray of Sickness. Dragon is Chromatic Orb. Enemy, Disguise Self. Friend, Speak with Animals. Journey is Longstrider. King is Command. Mountain is Entangle. And Sacred is Sanctuary. While you're wearing or carrying the rune-marked object, you can cast a spell associated with the chosen rune once without using a spell slot or material components, and you can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have. Your spellcasting ability for this feat is Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. You choose when you select the feat. Each time you gain a level, you can replace one of the runes you know with a different one from the rune table. Okay. They're not the best runes, if I'm being totally honest. Like, the ones I would want there are probably either Entangle, Command, Chromatic Orb, Disguise Self, or Ray of Sickness. I feel the other ones aren't as powerful, but my opinion. Rune Carver Adept. So this is the feat that follows this. Rune Carver Apprentice. Your ability to draw out power from runes has grown. Increased ability score of the spellcasting ability you've chosen when you chose the Rune Carver Apprentice feat. So if you chose Wisdom, your Wisdom goes up by 1, Intelligence by 1, or Charisma by 1, whichever one you chose. Whenever you cast a spell from the rune spells table, or a spell of a school of magic associated with the spell you marked on the object from your Rune Carver Apprentice feat, you can invoke the runic power, granting you one of these benefits of your choice. Okay. Battle runes. Choose 1 creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself until the end of the next turn. Till the end of that creature's next turn, it has advantage on the next attack roll it makes. Okay, it's solid. Healing rune. Choose 1 creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. The creature gains temporary hit points equal to your level. Okay. And Runic Winds. Choose 1 creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself until the end of that creature's turn. Its movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, and its walking speed increases by 10. You can invoke the power of number of these equal to your proficiency bonus, but no more than once per spell you cast. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so that makes the runes 10 times better, but I feel if I have to take 2 feats to make 1 feat good, it's not very good, and that's just a little opinion there. But I like the idea of runic magic in D&D, but I feel like they're really struggling to find a good spot for it, to make it balanced as well as actually good. And I don't think they've hit the mark there with those 2 feats, if I'm being totally honest. The Skyon of Elemental Air. You've been exposed to primordial magic at the elemental plane, granting you the following benefits. Elemental magic, you learn Minor Illusion, and you can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma for it. Winds Glide. You can use the bonus action to gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your turn. If you are airborne at the end of your turn, after using this movement and aren't held aloft by other means, you fall. You can use this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of a fly thing, much like the Glitchling. Okay, it's alright, I guess. Elemental Earth. You learn Druidcraft. As a bonus action, you can conjure a bulwark of earth that provides half cover to you or a creature of your choice within 30 feet of yourself. The bulwark remains until the start of your next turn. You can create this bulwark a number of times equal to your bonus. Okay, so you basically create like a small little wall for people to hide behind. I guess that's kind of fun. Elemental Fire. You learn Dancing Lights. You also learn to produce Flame cantrip using the same spellcasting ability as this one. You can cast Produce Flame as a normal, and you can also cast it as a bonus action number of times equal to your fish bonus. Okay, so you get Produce Flame as a bonus action, which could be useful for a spellcaster who wants to get multiple spells off in one turn. Once again, not extremely powerful though. And finally, Elemental Water. You learn Thaumaturgy. And then Wave Surge, you can use your bonus action to create a forceful surge of water directed at a creature within 15 feet of you that you can see. The target must make a strength saving throw. And the creature can choose to fail the saving throw. Okay, creature can choose. On a failure, the target's pushed up to 10 feet away from you or pulled 10 feet closer. Your choice. The water vanishes immediately after the creature succeeds to fail. You can create this effect a number of times equal. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think any of these are particularly powerful feats, and I can see this is why they're giving them out as level 1 free feats, like a cool little ability for you to have, because I don't think they're worth a 4th level ASI, if I'm being totally honest. They seem really weak to be giving up an ASI for, and so I can see why they're giving them out as level 1. Now, here is the one that I suppose I'm really interested in. Skyon of the Outer Planes, the one that's eluded us up until now. You're influenced by an adept You're influenced by an adept at navigating planar pathways and the strange realities of the outer planes. Whether planar essence infuses you or you have extraplanar ancestry, your connection to the Pua plane infuses you with the energies found there. Choose a type of plane listed in the planar fusion table below. Your choice gives you resistance to a damage type and ability, and the ability to cast a cantrip as specified in the table. You can cast this cantrip without material components, and your spellcasting ability for it is either Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. So, there are 6. So you have the Astral Plane, you get resistance to Psychic, and you learn Message. A Chaotic Outer Plane, you resistance to Necrotic, and you get Minor Illusion. An Evil Outer Plane, Necrotic and Chill Touch. A Good Outer Plane, Radiant and Sacred Flame. A Lawful Outer Plane, Radiant and Guidance. And the Outlands, Psychic and Mage Hand. Okay. So you basically get resistance to something and a free cantrip. This has to be a level 1 thing because it's not worth the level 4 dip in my opinion, and I can see how the other feats essentially pile onto it. So basically, depending on which plane you take, depends on which other feat you could take that we mentioned earlier. These have to be level 1 feats, and it's the only way to use them because they're just too weak to be 4th level feats in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I don't think I'm wrong in that regard either. But I can see what they're doing. I guess it's just a way to give people more abilities without breaking the game, essentially. Soul of the Storm Giant. So you need a 4th level 9 if you choose Storm Giant 1. Increase Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma by 1, which is different to the other ones because the other ones were Strength, Constitution, or Wisdom. So I don't know why there's a change for this one. Maelstrom Aura. As a bonus action, you surround yourself in an aura of magical wind and lightning that extends 10 feet from you in every direction, but not through total cover. The aura lasts until the start of your next turn or until you are incapacitated. While the aura is active, attack rolls against you have a disadvantage, and whenever a creature starts its turn within the aura, you force the creature to make a strength saving throw. On a failed saving throw, the creature's speed is halved until the start of its next turn. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended use when you finish a long rest. Okay, that's pretty solid. Gives you an aura. The disadvantage on all attacks is the really powerful part there, though, in my opinion. Okay, so here's the one that dictates all these giant feats. You've absorbed primeval magic that gives you an echo of the might of giants. Choose one of the kinds of giants listed below. As a bonus action, you can call on the power of your giant magic to imbue your attacks with additional power. The next time you hit a target with a melee or thrown weapon attack within the next minute, the attack has an additional effect depending on the origin of the giant magic. So, melee or thrown weapon. Hill Giant, target takes an extra d6 damage of the weapon's type and must make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. That's really good. Stone Giant, the target takes an extra 1d6 force damage, and the creature must succeed in a strength saving throw or be pushed 10 feet away. I think the Hill Giant one's a little bit better because prone's a better mechanic. Frost Giant takes 1d6 cold. If the target is a creature, must succeed on a con save or its speed is reduced to 0. So stay next. Okay, not the worst thing. Locks it down. Fire Giant, it just takes an extra d8 fire. A little bit annoying that it didn't get a blinding mechanic there. Maybe d6 and it's blind until the start of your next turn, but I suppose that's kind of piling on to what its extra ability is. So, Cloud Giant, the target takes an extra 1d4 thunder damage, and the creature must succeed in a wisdom saving throw or you become invisible to it. That's really good. The Cloud Giant ones are amazing. And Storm Giant takes an extra d6 lightning, must succeed in a con save or it has disadvantages on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. You can use these abilities a number of times to get proficiency. I really like that feat. That's solid. That's a good feat. I like the way, and then I like the way the later feats absolutely expand on those abilities. I like the giant ones. The outer plane one, the initial one's not that powerful. The later ones are really cool, but I like this one. I like this one at a base level, and then the way it piles onto them later on is very good. And the last one is the Vigor of the Hill Giant. Increase your con by 1. Bulwark, you are subjected to an effect that would move you at least 5 feet or knock you prone. You can use your reaction to steady yourself. You are then neither moved or knocked prone. Iron Stomach. Is that right? No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Wait, what? It would hardly just go here. Would it go to here? Doesn't look right. But I think that's the way it is because it feels like the spells start there. So I assume the Iron Stomach is part of it. Whenever you eat food as part of a short rest and spend one or more hit die to regain hit points, you regain additional hit points equal to your con plus your proficiency bonus. Okay, that's really good. I like that one. The Hill Giant one's solid, especially that ability there. Okay, I got confused there. Spells. Spells. There's a few. Jesus Christ, this is some bloody Unearthed Arcana, guys. Spells. Inspired by the deck of many things, this section contains new spells that the DM may add to the campaign, making them available to the player characters and monster spellcasters alike. The card spells table lists the new spells, ordering them by level. The table also notes the school of magic, which of a spell, whether it requires concentration, whether it bears the ritual tag, and which classes have access to it. So there are 5 spells. 1 2nd level, 3 3rd levels, and 1 4th level, as you can see here. Which I'm just not going to go through them here because this is just a little table. I'm going to actually go through each spell individually. So, Antagonize, it's a 3rd level enchantment spell. Cast time of 1 action, range of 30 feet. Playing card depicting a road for its material component, and its duration is instantaneous. You whisper magical words that antagonize one creature of your choice. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 4d4 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction, if available, to make a melee attack against another creature of your choice that you can see. If no other creature is within range, the target has disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the start of your next turn. When you upcast it, the damage increases by 1d4. That's a pretty fun spell, if I do say so. It can make the enemy attack other enemies, which is always solid, or give it disadvantage. I actually like that. It seems a little bit weak to be a 3rd level spell in my opinion, maybe a 2nd level spell. Knock down the damage a smidgen, but yeah, it's not too bad. House of Cards, a 3rd level conjuration. Casting time of 1 minute, range of touch, a deck of cards, duration 24 hours. You touch the ground and conjure forth a defensive structure made of enormous playing cards. The structure rises with you in its centre, harmlessly lifting you and any creatures in its area. The House of Cards has a square base that is 30 feet on each side, and it has 3 floors with 10-foot high ceilings. The second floor is 20 feet on each side, top floor is 10 foot on each side, both centered above the bottom floor. Ramps connect the interior of each floor, and empty door frames connect the interior and exterior of each level. Creatures inside or on top of the structure have half cover. Each card that comprises the house is 5 feet wide and 10 feet tall, and is very fragile. A card has AC 10 and 1 hit point. The cards are immune to poison and psychic. Reducing a card to 0 hit points destroys it. Every time a card is destroyed, roll a d6. If you roll a 5 or 6, the house collapses, ending the spell. The house and all its cards vanish when the spell ends. I love that spell. That is hilarious. That is like just a really funny spell to use, and I would love to use that at some point in a game as a player. I really like that spell. Spirit of Death. So this is probably going to be like the Elemental Spirit one, or Summon Construct or something like that. 4th level Necromancy, cast time 1 minute, range 60 feet. Components, all 3, and then you need a gilded playing card depicting an avatar of death worth at least 400 gold. That's a costly component. You call forth a spirit that embodies death itself. Choose an unoccupied space that you can see within 10 feet of the target, and the target becomes haunted by the spirit. The spirit uses the Reaper Spirit stat block. The spirit disappears when it or the haunted creature is reduced to 0 hit points, or when the spell ends. The Reef Spirit is an ally to you and your companions. In combat, the spirit shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required for you, but it will only attack the haunted creature. If you don't issue the spirit any commands, it takes a dodge action and uses its move to avoid danger. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a 5th level slot or higher, use the higher level wherever the spell's level appears in the stat block. Okay, so let's see what this guy can do. AC 11 plus a spell. Hit points are 40 plus 10 for each spell level above 30 or above 3rd. Has a speed of 30, fly speed of 30. Immune to necrotic and poison. Immune to charm, fright, and paralyzed poison. Senses 6 feet dark vision. Understands the languages you speak. Okay, Incorporeal Movement. The Reaper can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. If it ends its turn inside an object, it is shunted to the nearest unoccupied space. It takes 1d10 force damage for every 5 feet travelled. Haunting Tracker. You and the Reaper can sense the direction and distance to the haunted creature if it's on the same plane of existence as you. Okay. Multi-attack. The Reaper makes a number of attacks equal to half this spell's level rounded down. Reaping Scythe. Your spell attack your spell attack modifier to hit with advantage. Reach 5 feet, 1d10 plus 3 plus the spell's level necrotic damage. Okay. Paralyzing Fear. The Reaper attempts to instill fear into the creature and must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of the Reaper for 1 minute. While frightened this way, the creature's speed is 0 and it can't benefit from any bonuses to its speed. The frightened creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turn or immediately after it takes damage, ending the effect on itself on a success. Okay. Just it summons the Reaper, and the Reaper can fuck with something. That's pretty much it. It's no different to any of these summoning ability spells, if you ask me. Spray of cards. 2nd level conjuration. Cast time of 1 action, range 15-foot cone. You spray spectral cards from your hands or sleeve. The cards blind or slash at your enemies and then vanish. Choose one of the following effects for the cards. Blinding cards. Each creature in the 15-foot cone must make a wisdom save or be blinded until the end of their next turn. Not your next turn, their next turn. Cutting cards. Each creature must make a dexterity save or take 2d10 force damage on a fail. Okay. And the damage of the cutting cards increases by 1d10 for every 2 slots above the 2nd level. Okay. Yeah, it's alright. It's, kind of like Burning Hands, but a little bit different in my opinion. Okay, Summon Warrior Spirit, Gilded card protecting a knight, all the other stuff. Let's see if its stat block has anything kind of nice. It's just the same stuff over and over again. So you can choose when you cast a spell. Oh, it can be a barbarian, fighter, or monk. Okay, so that's where it comes from. And then it gets different things depending on which one you have, such as it gets a reckless strike if it's barbarian, a rallying strike for a fighter, unarmed strike for monk, and then it gets flurry of blows for a monk as well. And that's it. Jesus, that was a feckin' essay, wasn't it? Obviously the feats I feel like take up the majority of this, and they are interesting and they are fun. This is very Planescape. I didn't think we'd be getting Planescape so close to Spelljammer, but this is a Planescape UA, and one would think, are they working on a Planescape book? I would love that. I love the planes. I love messing with them. The Glitchling is a fun race to play. I would recommend. I think it'd be cool. The Cleric Subclass, once again, I'll say it, I feel these two abilities are what make the class. So if you can get to 6th level with it, you'd be balling. The backgrounds are all tied to feats, so the feats are good and bad. You know, you got weak ones, you got strong ones, but that's just the way it is. You know, it's the way these things work. I'd be really interested to see how some of them play out, and they seem to really be doubling down on this whole idea of taking one feat and then taking a second feat that makes the first feat even stronger. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I really appreciate it. Say so below what you think of this Unearthed Arcana, and are you excited if a Planescape book is coming soon? Because I know I am, so please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Once again, please hit the like button, and lets me know you enjoy these Unearthed Arcana videos when they come around. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, because you never want to miss another video, guys. Why would you? And hit that notification bell just to make sure you never miss another video. I'll have another video up this Saturday. Until then, guys, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for the support. I'll see you soon.